Welcome to another Sunday morning conversation, everybody. Today, my guest is Craig Lewin, the salty swimmer. So today we're going to talk about the Triple Crown. If you don't know where that is, you should tune in to find out. It is 3 separate marathon swims that only 256 people have completed. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoy.
Eric.
Hey, Craig, how are you? Oops, sorry.
Sorry, kind of glitchy.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Another day in the life, man. Another day in the life.
That's good.
Yeah. So, man, you are the first Triple Crown swimmer I have came across.
There's only 250 of us, so.
Yeah, I saw that on the Wikipedia. I'm like, oh, wow. So I don't even know where to start with that, man. What made you want to do it?
It just kind of happened. Honestly, it started with I just wanted a challenge. I coached a lot of triathletes, and they kind of inspired me to pick a goal. I hadn't really done anything big in a long time, and I decided Catalina Channel was a cool goal. It was something you can train for and still fail. And that was kind of the challenge I wanted, was you could do everything right and still not finish. So I did Catalina, and then I was like, oh, let me see if I can get into the 20 bridges, the New York swim. So I applied thinking I wouldn't get in, and then I got in. I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing 20 bridges. And after that was done, I was like, oh, well, I'm this close to the Triple Crown, so I might as well do the English Channel. So I was lucky enough to get a spot, and the rest is kind of history.
I guess let's talk about them one at a time. Let's start with the Catalina Channel, man. How was that? What is the exact distance on that? Obviously, that kind of varies depending on how much you shift in the tides, but.
Yeah, so Catalina is like, I think it's like it's between 20 and 21 miles. It's a gorgeous swim. It's really nice. It's, if you can get a really bad day, but like at the end of the swim, when you're coming up on the California mainland, you have dolphins swimming with you, and you have like this beautiful sunrise that you're swimming towards, and it's just it's a really beautiful swim. It can be very challenging depending on the weather and the conditions, but overall it was just, I got a perfect day. The water temp was great. Conditions were perfect, and I had I had some struggles, but I had a really good time overall.
So you say you're swimming towards the sunrise. What time did you start?
So for Catalina Channel, you have to start around 11 p.m. So no matter who you are, you start at night because there's less boat traffic in the channel. There's less winds, so it's a lot safer to start at night. So you start at 11 p.m. You swim through the night, and then you hopefully are finishing it during the day, depending on how fast you are. But that's generally how they like you to have it, because once the sun lights up, there's a lot more boat traffic, recreational boaters, sailors, and then there's also the shipping lanes that you have to deal with. So you have a lot of container ships and whatnot as well. So that's why we start at night, swim through the night, and then it's kind of nice though, because instead of the sun going down on you, you have the sun coming up, and it's like you're almost like revitalized. There's like this energy that like a second wind almost comes, because like, oh, now I'm swimming in the day. It's like a totally different swim. I'm almost done, and it really helps you get through the swim mentally.
What's it like swimming in the dark? Where, like, how dark is it? Like pitch black all around you, or like, what's the lighting situation?
It's dark. So you have your kayaker on one side, and then you have your guide boat on the other side, and both of them have glow sticks on the sides of them. And then you wear a light on the back of your head and the back of your swimsuit so that they can see you in the water. But it's not light, it's pitch black, but it's kind of cool because as you're swimming, your arms pull through like the bioluminescence. So you almost get like things lighting up under you as you're pulling the water. So it's cool, but it's very dark. Like when you turn your head to breathe, it's just as dark as like when you're looking straight down into the ocean and it's just like complete black. So it's it I think the night I had it, I don't remember what the moon was like, but I remember thinking, wow, it is super dark out here. But that's why it's really important when you're training for these things, you train for night swims. So you'll actually do night swims so that it's not a surprise to you, like what it's like to swim at night, what to expect. Because not only is it can be weird for people to swim at night, but you're normally sleeping at that time. So your body is reacting in different ways.
Yeah, dude, what do you gotta do when you take that morning dump?
You're just normally in bed. So you feel cold because you're tired, not because you're cold. And that starts playing tricks on your mind. You're like, oh my God, it's 2 hours into the swim and I'm freezing, but the water temp is like 65. There's no reason I should be cold. And then it starts playing tricks on you and you have to learn how to get through that mentally to have a successful swim.
So where did you do these night swims at? Because like here, you would have to do them in a state park, but you can't get entrance to it till like 6 a.m. You just do it in a pool?
My parents live right on the ocean, so we would go out super early in the morning and swim through sunrise. And they have kayaks, so they would kayak next to me while I swam. We'd start really, really early in the morning in the dark, and then swim through sunlight. And then I've also been a support swimmer for 2 English Channel swims, and prior to me doing the English Channel. So I got some night swimming experience there because both of those swimmers started at like, I think 1 and 2 in the morning. So we had a lot of night swimming before obviously the sun came up for those swims as well.
All right. So dude, what do you tell me? Like, cause it's screwing your circadian rhythm. How does that throw off your pre-morning dump? Everybody's got one.
I think you're so nervous, you don't even worry about it, honestly. You go to the bathroom before the swim starts and then you don't even think about it. Like you honestly don't even have to go the whole time you're swimming. Like if you're swimming for more than 20 hours or 15 hours, I'm sure your body at some point is like, I gotta go. But for all of my swims, not once was like, oh, I need to get it out. You pee a ton. You pee like almost every break. But as far as number 2, there was never the feeling that I needed to go, so I didn't have to deal with it.
Okay, so now tell me about the 20 bridges one. That just means you went under 20 bridges, right?
Yeah, yep. You go under the 20 bridges around Manhattan.
Now, I mean the
so
East River.
It's pretty cool.
The East River is pretty polluted, isn't it? Or is it like pretty disgusting?
When you're in it, you don't notice it, but they do warn you that if there's rain that day or the day before, they do release some of the.
You get E. coli.
It's not sewage water, but it's not clean water because the treatment plants can't handle the volume of water coming in. So then they release water into the rivers. So they tell you like it's in your best interest to maybe have an antibiotic for before and after the swim so you don't get any issues. So that's what I did. And I luckily didn't end up with the stomach issues that other swimmers have had in the past because of some of the filth in the water, but it certainly is swimmable. It's just not the cleanest water for sure.
And that's what, how far is that? Like 35 miles?
That's 28.5 miles.
So was that like a 24-hour swim for you? 18-hour swim?
Nope. It's current assisted. So it's actually only like 7.5 hours.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, you fly through it. The current like rips you around the island. It's awesome. So it becomes an exercise in hitting the tides right, because if you miss the tides into each river, then you have a lot of problems. But if you don't hit if you hit the tides right, it just kind of slingshots you around the island, and it's a very fast.
Fair? Is that really even fair to do that?
I mean, there's plenty of swims that are current assisted swims. It still follows marathon swim rules, and it's fair in the sense that everyone has the same current.
So you all start at the same time.
So as long as you're swimming fast enough, you have the same current as everyone else who's ever done the swim.
You all start at the same time, right?
Yep.
How many people are in that race?
So 20 bridges is different. They do a couple of them throughout the year, and I think they limit it to 15 people. I think they do 3 or 4 of them for the year, and they limit it to, I think, 15 people per wave. So they do one in June, one July, one in August, and one in September, and each one has about 15 people each.
Okay. Now it was all during daylight hours then.
Yeah, that was during the day. That was honestly, of the three, that is the easiest swim. It's the shortest time wise, not distance wise, shortest time wise. The water temp was very comfortable. You have the current assist, and it's all during the day, and there's people around, so it's a much more exciting event than some of the other swims.
Okay, maybe I'll have to do that one day. I don't want to be a triple crown like you, man. See, the thing is, I only have, my longest swim under my belt is 4.5 miles. That's it.
Okay.
In the Tennessee River.
Okay.
So it was a little current assisted. I was swimming between 1 minute to 1 minute 5 per 100 for that 4.5 miles, which is 8,000 yards almost on the button.
Wow, nice.
But
yeah, I mean, with training, you could do 20 bridges. It's a pretty. I mean, it's challenging. Any swim over 6 hours is challenging, but it's definitely, if you're going to bridge the gap into longer swims, that is certainly one that is achievable. You know, it's not unmanageable, and it's not an excessive amount of training to actually get through it successfully.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So tell me about the English Channel. Is this one's the hardest and the longest of all of them?
Of the three, the English Channel for me was definitely, it's 21 miles. You actually swim more than 21 miles. You get credit for 21, but because you swim in this S pattern due to the currents, you end up swimming between 22 and 30 miles, depending on how fast you are. And then like when you get to French shores, if you hit the currents wrong, you hit the tides wrong, you end up swimming in place for like hours before you actually make it onto mainland. So for me, it's about the longest, and it's definitely the hardest, but it's the hardest because of the weather is very unpredictable, and the water is significantly colder than the other swims.
No wetsuits for any of
So
this.
no wetsuits for any of this.
That's
It's all
against marathon swimming
Speedo.
rules.
What was that?
Is that against marathon swimming rules?
Yeah, so marathon swimming rules are nothing that provides warmth. So I think for men, no suit can go below the knee, or men and women, no suit can go below the knees. And then for women, it's like a traditional, women's suit. For men, it's a traditional Speedo or jammer. You can wear grease. Grease doesn't keep you warm. Grease just helps you prevent chafing. So you can wear grease, you can wear earplugs, you can wear one swim cap, and you can never touch the boat, and you can never touch anyone else. So that's basically marathon swim rules.
Okay, that's definitely, it is doable. So tell me more about the English Channel one, man. That's the one everybody wants to hear about.
Yeah, I mean, I got a great day, honestly. I started at 6 or 7 in the morning. So my whole swim was during the day. I started at 6 or 7 in the morning, ended at 6 or 7 at night. Took me 11 hours and 24 minutes. It was honestly, I think because I had done so much training, it was pretty uneventful. Like I said, I had good weather. When you get to the ship, so you get into this place called the separation zone, which is between the shipping lanes. And what happens is you have all the boat traffic between the shipping, the container ships and the ferries, and it pushes everything into the middle where this like separation zone is. And that's kind of where you start running into like a lot of jellyfish and a lot of like, not trash, but like driftwood and just weird things you just kind of run into. So, the first couple hours of the swim, my body was trying to figure it out. I was shivering, I was freezing, but that's how I start all my swims. No matter how, until the water temp is 80, I shiver for the first 2 hours of any swim. So I wasn't too concerned. The currents were good. The waves were pretty good. I had a really good day. I was on a great boat. And then we hit the separation zone, and that's kind of where the jellyfish started popping up. So I definitely took some hits from some pretty large, some pretty large jellyfish, which was it was definitely, I like it. It doesn't bother me for, it almost wakes you up. It keeps you in the swim. So you're not like stuck in this, if you're in a bad place and you get stung by a jellyfish, it's like, oh, something else to think about that is not the swim. And it burns for like 5-10 minutes, then it goes away. And then you hit another jellyfish. So hit a bunch of jellyfish. I think at one point a porpoise was chasing me. I didn't know this. My dad told me after the swim. He was like, "Yeah, you had some like porpoise or something chasing you for like a mile or two." I'm like, "Must have been toying with me because it can swim a lot faster than I can, so should have caught me." But in the moment, you don't really know these things. You're just trying to swim. Once I got into French waters, things started to get a little bit more difficult. The water started picking up. It started getting windy. It started getting choppy. But the benefit is the water starts warming.
Craig, are you there?
I'm here.
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know.
Huh. Okay. I no idea what that just happened. But you were talking to me about how the water just got warmer.
Yeah, so when you go to the French side, the water temperature picks up a bit. It goes for up a couple degrees, which is a huge difference. Like when you're swimming in 59, 60 degrees, and then all of a sudden it's 62, 63 degrees, it's a totally different swim. So you can see the end, you can see the finish, and you're swimming and you're swimming and you're swimming, and I asked my crew, I was like, how much longer? Like I was like in my head, I'm like, I'm just sick of swimming. I just want to be done. And that's a really hard question in the channel because you can be a mile away and hit a current and be stuck swimming in place for hours. And you're like a mile away and you make no progress. So the boat captains, they don't tell you how much longer you have. They just tell you, keep swimming. Like, don't worry about how much you have left. Just keep swimming. So when I got to probably about a mile away, I felt like I was swimming in place for hours. I don't think it was hours. It was probably like 20 minutes or half hour. But I felt like I was swimming in place, making no progress for a couple hours. And, finally you break through. And the coolest part is when you get close enough, you see, they tell you, oh, this is your last feed. So then you do your last feed, you're almost done. And then the main boat releases the dinghy, and the dinghy is what guides you in. So that when you're, once that dinghy is off, you're like, this is in the bag. So you can kind of take a victory lap the last like quarter of a mile where you're swimming into the rocks, you're swimming into the cap, and you have the dinghy next to you, and you're kind of enjoying the moment and just being like, oh, I can't believe I did this. Like, and then you hop out, you stand on the rocks, you stand on the beach wherever you finish. You have to clear the high tide water line. So once you clear that, they ring the bell, the boat blows its horn, and then the clock is officially stopped, and you take a moment, reflect on it, and then it's like it never happened. You get on the dinghy to take you back to the boat, and then you go off back to England. So it's, with a year of work or 3 years of work, and then all of the training and all of the hard, all the swimming, it's over in like a second. And it's a cool feeling, but it's over. And then you're caught, then you got to chase you got to think, what's next? What am I going to do next to get that feeling? So, that's kind of how my English channel experience was, but it was a huge confidence builder for like me as not just a swimmer, but as a person too, like overcoming obstacles and just knowing that when you work hard and you commit to something and you don't waver from it at all, you can definitely achieve some pretty cool things.
Yeah, man, that's killer, man. What was the bar tab on all this stuff, man? What did it cost to do all this?
So Catalina, and these are prices that these are general prices. I don't remember off like exactly what it is, but Catalina for the boat is, I want to say like 3,000 to 3,500. Then you have to pay the observer fees, which is a couple hundred. 20 bridges was, I think, 3,300, but they just went up in price to around 5,000.
Ooh.
And then, yeah, and then English Channel is for the boat is about 3,300 pounds. And then to get the observer is like another, I think 500, I think it was like 3 to 500
So roughly
pounds.
$5,000.
So yeah, it's about, each one is close to 5 grand easily. But then you got to travel, you got to lodge, you know, you got to stay and ride the Dover coaster. And, you know, so it could be a lot higher, but generally that's like the minimum that you're looking at is the cost of the boat and the cost of the observers.
That's definitely a steep bar tab, man. I never knew it was that expensive to do that.
It's very expensive. It is not the most inclusive sport, that is for sure.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you eliminate one demographic out of it because, you know, certain minorities don't swim. So it's like, oh, this is like strictly almost a white person sport, isn't it?
Not really. I mean, you'd be surprised. It's it's a huge thing international. Like, so if you look at like Europe and other countries, open water swimming is massive. It's just in our country that it's not mainstream. You know, there's no way to really monetize it from an advertising perspective. So, you know, you're not going to see it as like a huge, other than an Olympic year, you just don't see it. And when you don't see it, people don't know it exists. So, but in Europe and other countries, it is actually like a massive sport that's booming, and we're seeing it boom and grow within our own country. It's just, we're just behind other countries, but there are people from all over, different socioeconomic statuses, different demographics, just finding ways to get these swims done. And it's really impressive and exciting, but it comes at a cost. But, you know, a lot of people will do them for charities, they'll do fundraising, and when they're committed to it, they find a way to get it done.
Did you do a charity or you pay out of pocket?
I did it all on my own dime.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing the 4.3 mile Mackinac bridge swim. You know, the big bridge that's like an engineering marvel that connects upper and lower Michigan together. I'm gonna do that next year.
Awesome. That's excellent. Is
Yeah.
that for a charity?
No, that's just, I got an invitation to come do it because I talked to the guy. He's like,
Awesome.
yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll come do it, man. So I don't know what he's even going to charge for the entry fee, but I mean, you know, it'll be, I am going to retire from doing triathlons at some point. So, and I've done some swims, so I'm just kind of dabbling into different stuff. I have a race map of the United States where I just put pins on all the places that I've raced. So I just like to collect more pins. So wherever I can get a pin that I can't get a triathlon, I do it.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's my own personal thing, and it just hangs up in my hall. So, and it's a conversation starter for people who come over.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, man, what other major swims are on your tab since you've already got the Triple Crown? Are you gonna do like the North Channel, stuff like that?
I would like to. It's realistically might not happen for a few years, but it's definitely on my map. Again, it comes down to funding, it comes down to training, it comes down to just the timing being right. But yeah, I think North Channel is probably the last big one that I really want to do. And then I will figure out what's after that. But North Channel is certainly the next big one for me.
When you get over to France in the English Channel swim, is it a sandy beach or is it rocky?
So it depends. If you swim fast enough, you end on the cap, which is all rocks. If you are a bit slower or the currents take you, then you end up in Wassant, which is like a sandy beach. So it really just depends on the speed of swimmer you are and the currents and where they take you.
Is it a major shipping lane too?
So the shipping lanes are in the middle.
Okay.
So yeah, you have your English ferries on one side, and then there's like a sizable distance between them, and then you have the French shipping lanes on the other side. So you hit the shipping lanes for the French side and on the English side.
Okay. So what else do you have on your marathon swimming resume other than those 3 swims? Anything else interesting?
I've done a bunch of 25K swims. I went to, was it US Nationals way back for 25Ks. I have a bunch of, I've done the Boston Light swim a handful of times. I've done a few other 25Ks not associated with nationals. So, and then training swims. I mean, a lot of my training swims are 6 to 10 hour swims. So they're not officially recognized, but you still do the work. You're still in the water for the 6 to 10 hours. So there's,
Woo, that's a lot of swimming.
it's a lot of swimming.
Where are your mate? All right. Do you wear a jammer or a Speedo? Because I grew up in the era of Speedo, so I always wear a Speedo. Which one's worse to wear?
It's personal preference. I'm a Speedo guy too. I've always gone with Speedo, but I don't think it really matters as long as you're comfortable.
Okay. Well, hey, Craig, man, thanks for joining me today. It was definitely interesting. I mean, you are one of 256, right? That's definitely interesting in my book.
Yeah. So I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to, seeing this out there.
Yeah, man. And, let me know if you ever do the North Channel swim, or, if you happen to ever want to do the swim the suck. It's a 10-mile swim, which is like, not much for you. And it's really only about a 4.5, 5 hour swim, because it's straight down the Tennessee River. I might do that one day. So, people don't have to twist my arm very hard to do races with them.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you know if that's on my list.
Okay, man. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Cool. Nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.